In this video, I try to escape the creeper prison. This prison is massive and made out of solid bedrock, making it nearly impossible to escape. The whole place is rigged to blow, so I have to escape as fast as possible. When I spawned in, I found myself in a small room. The room was made out of bedrock with some red concrete on one side and a lava flow on the other. After looking around for a bit, I found a chest under the lava flow. Inside was a creeper spawn egg and a sand block. I didn't know what I was supposed to do at first, but eventually I realized I could use the creeper to blast a hole in the wall. I placed the sand block down and stood behind it so that it would absorb the blast. Then I placed the creeper and let it blow up. It blew a hole straight through the wall, which allowed me to enter the next room. The next room was large and had some parkour, and there was a button on one side of the wall, and when I pressed it, a load of creepers came out of nowhere. I tried to do the parkour, but failed miserably and died. Luckily, I respawned right in the room next door, so I quickly retried and successfully completed the parkour. I continued on and found some stairs with lava below them. The stairs led to a short hallway, which took me up to an empty room. I didn't see anything in the room other than a hole at the top of the wall, so I began looking around, and eventually I accidentally ran into an invisible block. Upon further investigation, I realized there was some hidden parkour throughout the room using barrier blocks. I completed the parkour, which led to a short hallway and a crawling tunnel that I couldn't enter. I went back to find what I had missed, and after a while I found a chest hidden below the lava by the stairs. Inside of the chest was an ender pearl, which I knew would allow me to enter the crawling tunnel. I made my way back and then through the pearl and began crawling through it. On the other side, I found that I was in a cage made from red concrete, and I noticed a button and pressed it. The button spawned in a creeper, which eventually blew up and freed me from the cage. A chest was revealed under the cage, and inside of it were 2 sand blocks and 2 creeper eggs. I assumed I needed to blow up the red concrete on the floor. Repeating the same process from the first room, I placed the sand and then let the creeper blow up. Under the first block, there was a chest with a few sand blocks, and under the second was a single arrow. I noticed that there was an item frame with a bow in it, as well as a target on the ceiling. I used the sand to scale up the wall to get the bow, and then I shot the target, which opened up a door to the next room. This room was massive and full of creepers. There were some invisible blocks which I stepped on, and I found that there was actually a hidden path. I followed it, and not gonna lie, it was kinda scary with all of the creepers swarming below me. After a few close calls, I made it to the end. The next room contained a sign that told me not to fall, and that's when I realized that there was no floor and I would fall straight into the void if I messed up. Now, the stakes are actually pretty high here. If I die, I'll respawn, but there is no way I can get past the crawling tunnel, meaning if I mess up, I'd be trapped here forever. I noticed on the other side there was an opening, and I knew that I couldn't make the jump, so I began looking around, and eventually I went into F5. I found that a hopper was actually hidden below the block I was on. I carefully opened it and found inside a bucket of water. I grabbed the water and then used it to get to the other side. I found a sign and a button that said phase 2. I saw nothing else, so I pressed it and was instantly teleported. I found myself inside of a bedrock cage hovering over lava. I looked around and noticed a platform several blocks away. In front of me, I found a block of bedrock with carpet on it. I didn't know what else to do, so I broke the carpet and found a chest hidden behind it. The chest had a stone button inside. Now, I only had one placement with this button because it was made from stone, so breaking it with my hand would completely destroy it. I was unsure where to place it, so I went into F5 and found that there was a command block hidden above me. I placed the button, and when I pressed it, a horse suddenly spawned in. I got on the horse, which freed me from my cage, and then I got off. Unfortunately, when I got off, I pushed it a bit and it fell straight into the lava. I then made my way around the cage and hopped on the bedrock from earlier. I then discovered that there was another chest hidden behind it. I opened it and found a dirt block, a tree sapling, and some bone meal. It was pretty obvious what I needed to do, so I grew a tree and got some wood from it. I repeated this once more, and this time I climbed up it to get a better view of the platform. I discovered there was actually a water pool in the corner of the room that I could probably reach from the platform. I finished breaking the tree and then bridged my way over to it. Instead of bridging directly to the water, I decided to just jump so that I could build back up in case it was a trick. I jumped and landed in the water and then fell down a shaft that led to another another button. I pressed it and was once again teleported. This time I was in a small room with a vertical shaft in the roof of one of the corners. I noticed a crafting table in the corner and I realized I still had planks. I crafted some sticks and then some ladders and then used them to scale up the shaft. This led me to another room with a villager. The villager was selling a creeper spawn egg for 7 bone meal and I had 10 bone meal, so I decided to get the egg. I then noticed a shulker box in the corner and when I tried to open it, I accidentally fell through and into another room. The box was empty, so I continued on. I was next presented with a simple trivia question, which I quickly answered. A hole opened up in one corner, which revealed a water flow I could crawl up. I crawled up it, and as soon as I reached the top, a message appeared in the corner saying the prison would detonate in just 5 minutes. I had to move quickly, so I began sprinting into the next room. When I entered the room, I was given a bow, and I began getting shot at by a skeleton, so I killed it. I picked up the loot it dropped, and then I noticed the sticky piston in the center of the room. I looked up and saw a dispenser and a target. I realized I had a bow and some arrows, so I shot the target, which triggered the dispenser. A slime block popped out and slowly fell down to me. I placed it on the piston and then triggered it to get up to the next room. The next room was very tall with ladder parkour. I slowly made my way up the parkour, and at the end of it, there was a short tunnel which led to another room. This room contained a message stating that I had nearly escaped, but there was one final test I had to complete, and I had to do it quickly. I hit the start button and I was immediately teleported to another room which had a sign that said I'd hurry. This is when I remembered that the whole place was gonna blow. There was some ladder parkour and then some normal parkour and then more ladder parkour. I tried to do it as fast as I could, but I was still pretty slow and I had to make it all the way to the top of the creeper. I was unsure if I was gonna make it, but I had no other choice, so I just pushed on and eventually I made it to the last bit of parkour. I quickly completed it and it ended at an opening in the face of the creeper. I was several hundred blocks up, but fortunately I could see a pool of water down below. I hurried and jumped out of the creeper and then landed in the water. I immediately began running because I was still in range of the creeper that was about to explode.